This is the Lenovo Ideapad Gaming 3, and it's one of the best-selling gaming laptops on the market for a lot of good reasons. And Best Buy sponsored today's video so that I could talk about one of the top deals that they're currently running, as well as ask you to check out their website, and we'll talk about them in a second. But this laptop is stealing the hearts of gamers everywhere because it comes in at such an affordable price and is packed with a lot of features and has room for upgradability that makes it a great idea in case you're looking into getting a budget gaming laptop. So as of the time of filming, this laptop is currently part of Best Buy's top deals, which means it's actually $300 off and going for only $599.99. And for that price point, you're getting a ton of specs. It has a 6-core Ryzen 5 5600H processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM at DDR4 3200, an RTX 3050 Ti, as well as a 256 gigabyte SSD. And the display is a 1080p 120 Hz panel, which means that you can actually take advantage of that RTX 3050 Ti hitting some high frame rates in some esports titles, making it a really great budget laptop. But this is actually not my first experience with the Lenovo Ideapad Gaming 3. I picked one up well over a year ago, and we've been using it nonstop in the office since then because it actually has a lot of features at a crazy price point. The reason I ended up picking it up is because I needed to do some on-the-go streaming with it for our Cannonball for the Cure charity stream. So my requirements were more than 4 cores on the processor, upgradable RAM, which the Ideapad Gaming 3 absolutely has, an RTX graphics card capable of utilizing RTX voice so that we could cancel out some road noise, and most importantly, a gigabit Ethernet jack, which you typically do not find at this price point. Most modern laptops that are actually really affordable tend to cut that out, but you get full gigabit connectivity on this bad boy. On top of that, for I/O, you get the power in, you get HDMI out, and a USB Type-C all on the left. On the right-hand side, you get 2 USB 3.2 Type-A ports, which makes it great for actually connecting to things. And as I mentioned, upgradability was a big deal to me because I know that this comes in at an affordable price point but only has 8 gigs of RAM. But it's actually even slightly worse than that because of the 5600H that's in here with the integrated GPU. On first boot, you're actually going to only see roughly 6 gigabytes of RAM because 2 gigs get reserved for the integrated GPU that's on that 5600H. But it is so easy to just pop open the bottom of the chassis, purchase this RAM kit from Best Buy, and then you're off to the races, getting it up to 16 gigs. Now, I will say that all of our testing for the benchmarks on this video were done with the 8 gigabytes of RAM that this does have, so numbers are indicative of that. But I can tell you that there absolutely is a RAM bottleneck, but again, it's like $30 to buy DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM from Best Buy and then go ahead and install it into the laptop. And I highly recommend that you check out Best Buy's Top Deals, which is the sponsor of today's video, because they constantly have fantastic promotions on both gaming laptops, monitors, gaming accessories, and even gaming components if you're looking to upgrade something like your desktop. Their sales are changing every single week, and you can make sure that you're getting the best tech deals out of there. Plus, you get free in-store pickup, you can get same-day shipping in a lot of cases, or very easily accessible shipping in case you don't have a Best Buy near you, but they're kind of all over America, so it's actually really easy to just drop on down. I constantly utilize the 1-hour in-store or curbside pickup at our local Best Buy, and I am daily checking the top deals on Best Buy in order to make sure that I'm stocking my inventory here at UFD Tech with all the best parts that I can possibly afford, which Best Buy makes it a lot easier with the top deals for. Additionally, they have their Total Tech membership, which gives you 24/7, 365 tech support, worry-free product protection, free standard installation, delivery, and haul away. So in case you want to buy a television, which I also bought that from Best Buy. The laptop that I bought last year, I also bought from Best Buy, but the Total Tech membership means that in case I have some issues, my laptop is covered and I can always go to them for that. And additionally, the thing I love about my Total Tech membership, which Best Buy didn't give me for free, I personally paid for it before we were even sponsored by Best Buy, is because they give you a 60-day return window, and I absolutely love that. So check out Best Buy at the link in the video description, save some money on their top deals. check them out before they're gone, and especially before the deal on this laptop expires, because $600 for this bad boy is incredible. But let's go ahead and talk about what those specs bring you in terms of benchmarks. So for the battery life, it's okay. You have a dedicated GPU in here. It's a 15.6-inch laptop, so they're not packing the biggest battery that you could possibly have. It's only 3 cells, but in my testing with the dedicated GPU active, it managed to last just about 4 hours on battery, which is fine. I'm not usually away from the wall, so this is not something that I would take on the go. It's not going to get you all day battery life, but in case you don't do as many intensive tasks as I do, you could probably foresee getting up to 6 to 8 as long as you're doing some light web browsing or potentially any sort of document editing, but definitely not in terms of gaming. As far as the build quality on this, I can attest to how well it holds up after an entire year, after being in the car with 4 sweaty dudes running live streams, constantly being put through stress tests. This thing hasn't cracked at all. We have barely any wear and tear on the plastic. It stands the test of time. It feels super sturdy. It is actually a pretty decent experience overall. And the only difference between this laptop that we have here and the one that I bought over a year ago is the fact that this has an upgraded 3050 Ti and this one just has the plain old 3050. And the chassis itself is actually really well ventilated, again, for a budget gaming laptop. The CPU temps that we saw was only up to 80 degrees Celsius and the GPU got up to 66, which is not an inferno in the slightest that you typically can see on some of the higher end laptops. But because there's ventilation ports all around the side of the laptop, you're actually getting some pretty good temps. Before we get into the gaming numbers, I do want to talk about some of the additional features that the Ideapad Gaming 3 has that not every laptop at this size can boast. Number one, it has a full 10 key on the side. In case you need to do some number crunching, it actually has that. Because of that, there is an offset touchpad, but it's fully usable, no issues whatsoever. But it also, for the webcam and mic, it still has the retractable cover to make sure that the webcam is covered when not in use, which you typically don't see on gaming laptops either, which you can see and hear how all of that sounds now. The 720p webcam's fine in modest lighting. The microphones are okay. They're not fully noise canceling. They still pick up a lot of background noise, but it does get the job done for any sort of video conferencing that you need to do. The speakers on it are serviceable. They're pretty good. They sound about what you would expect at this price point. You're going to get all of the clarity that you need. You're lacking a little bit of bass, but you can use it for playing music or listening to video games as you're doing them. As far as pre-installed software, Lenovo does include their Advantage software as well as McAfee, so there is a little bit of excess installation here, but it's honestly not too bad, and those are easily removable in case you want that. But now let's get into the gaming numbers, and as I mentioned, because this only has 8 gigs of RAM and 2 of them are taken up by the iGPU, we were functionally running with about 5.5 to 6 gigabytes of RAM while gaming. In a lot of AAA modern titles, that is not going to be enough, so I can't highly stress enough, buy the $8 upgrade from Best Buy so that you can have 16 gigs of RAM on this laptop. But even with that, you do see some decent performance numbers. In a game like CSGO at 1080p medium settings, we managed to hit 116 FPS average, which is taking advantage of the 120 Hz panel that's on this Ideapad Gaming 3. A AAA title like Cyberpunk 2077 managed to run at 45 FPS at 1080p medium, and God of War managed to run at 37.9. And in Spider-Man Remastered, this is actually where the RAM bottleneck happened the most. We averaged 33.9 FPS, but if you web swing too fast, I don't actually have a clip of this, it actually pauses the game so that the textures can actually load in. So that RAM bottleneck does come in on a few games. You can't actually get at the full speed of gaming, and my game had to pause several times in order for me to continue on. But then in a game like Fortnite at 1080p with performance settings, we managed to hit 112.2 average FPS, which again is going to be good in case you're playing esports titles, League of Legends, Overwatch, CSGO, Fortnite. This 3050 Ti with the 5600H are more than capable. You're going to get more FPS if you add in that extra 8 gigs of RAM. You add those two price points together, you're paying roughly $630 to get a really solid gaming experience that you can hook up hardwire with an Ethernet port, which I absolutely love. You get a decent screen, a decent keyboard, decent speakers. It honestly just is the complete package but in a price point that makes a lot of sense. So I really like the Lenovo Ideapad Gaming 3. I can see why it's one of Best Buy's top sellers, and I'm super thankful that it's part of Best Buy's top deals right now so that I can talk about it, because I never actually got a chance to do a review on the one that we bought over a year ago, and now here's my chance to do it thanks to Best Buy for sponsoring this video. So go ahead and check out Best Buy's top deals at the link in the video description. Check them out before they're gone. Again, they have new deals every week, so if you miss it this week, there's something new coming down the pipeline. Get the Total Tech membership so you're protected. You have the customer support, you have the extended return window, and again, big thanks to Best Buy for sponsoring today's video.